to start the next project featuring our Grace's Garden. So this is the next card that we're going to work on. Now, if you'll notice, we do use quite a bit of the rose garland here, and some of it on the inside. So we're going to need just need one of these and then the rose garden. So looking at our pieces, I went ahead and stamped and re-stamped some plenty of garlands, and then we actually have more than we need, so I can put these aside for another card. And we are going to use a couple of these, and then I have this little rose I'm going to save, and a kitty and a bird for our card. So we have all these pieces that have been cut out and colored. Let me just put these over here. We're going to need our Big Shot, or rather the Subtle Dynamic Textured Embossing folder. And here's our piece of cardstock that I believe I've already folded it, so I can put that aside. And you can see what I did is I just made sure that everything kind of matched, and where it didn't, I just kind of pushed this out like this, and it does kind of nicely. So I held it tight here, and then there we go. I pushed that out, see, and there it kind of matches up. So you just hold it together and then just kind of push your paper out so that it marries perfectly. All right, and that's really important, because the first step is going to be taking your die right here, and I'm going to grab my pen, because I think it bears being remarked, as in mark again. But when you and I'm going to use this grid pattern right here, or no, let me use this grid pattern because I think it'll show up much better. Okay, so I'm going to use this grid pattern. I'm going to move in a little bit here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I have this this grid pattern here, and I have these numbers here on the bottom. So I'm going to line this up, but I'm going to line it up so that the inside kind of lines up on this line right here, okay? Okay, so here's my line, and here's the inside of my arc. And when I do that, instead of lining it up like this, which the outside edge lines up with the black line, I'm lining it up with the inside edge on the black line, okay? When you do that, you'll notice that the inside is a perfect 2 inches, okay? This is a perfect 2 inches. So go ahead and do that. You line it up. It's a perfect 2 inches. Using some grid paper, you can use your Stampin' Up! Grid paper. I'm just using this. And then I'm going to mark here, and I'm going to mark here, okay? And I'm going to come out again, because then what we're going to do is we're going to take this paper, and I'm going to run it through the Big Shot. I'm going to run it through the Big Shot like this. I'm just going to line this up like that, and kind kind of bear in mind that you're going to probably want to keep some equal distance. So it's not a bad idea to grab, and I have this handy dandy ruler that comes with my my piece here. And if I just line that up like that on my grid, okay, so it's square on my grid, oops, I can go ahead and lay this over right here and bring it down probably about there, and I can very lightly just kind of draw a line. That wasn't very good. Let's see how that's going to go. Looking through it and making sure that that line is straight, and I'm just going to draw a very faint line here, and you can barely see that, but that's to help to kind of make sure that I line this up when I open this up and run this through my Big Shot, that I kind of put this on the line like this, and that it is going to be straight on both sides. All right, so let me pull my Big Shot into view. And show you what I'm trying to do. I've got all kinds of, this is a little caddy that comes on the side of my Big Shot, so pay no attention to that. So here's my paper. Nope, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's my paper. Here's this side. There's the bottom of the line. We're just going to go ahead and line this up right there like that. All right, and I have all this neat little purple tape here, which I'm just going to make sure that this fits like that. Okay. And we're going to take this through the Big Shot. Okay, so we've got that piece done. Now let's take our piece, and now let's put it on this side and shift our tape over, and I'm lining it up with that line, that very faint little line there on the bottom. And I'm going to put this here, and we're going to run this through the Big Shot. Okay, so there it is, and I just want to make sure you can see kind of that faint line I had there. So hopefully this is going to match up. Yep, look, it matches up perfectly. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to take this arch. Keep these, I tell you, these little purple tape things last forever. They're wonderful. Now I want to take this piece that we're going to put in the middle here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to run this through the Big Shot like that, and then we're going to cut it in half, okay, because that's going to create our other piece. And you know, and if you want to, I mean, if you really want to, you can go ahead and kind of mark that like that, and just make sure you have that straight. And I'm just going to play it safe and just put some pieces of tape, and we're going to run this through the Big Shot. Okay, so now we have our outside done. So here we go. Let me peel this off. And there we go. So now we can lay this right here, and it's perfectly aligned. Then, or first I'm going to, we're going to run our pieces through our embossing folder. So this embossing folder, let's see. This embossing folder is the dynamic textured. So to use this folder, you have to pull off, and here I'm using my Big Shot platform, my thin die adapter, and my precision base plate. I love this thing. Okay, so I'm going to pull these off, and all I need is a Big Shot platform, a clear plate, and then my my embossing folder. Oops, I'm going to put this one here. I'm just going to line it up, make sure it's in the middle, kind of straight. It's going to go in this way. And we're going to emboss. Okay. Okay, so that is nicely embossed. Now, I did not emboss this piece because I think I didn't emboss the inside. I only embossed the outside because I think there's a really nice contrast between the two that I really wanted to keep. So let me get this out of the way. Oh, here's my outside. Here's my pretty piece. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to paste this on my paper, just like this. But we're not going to put glue right here and right here, because when we finish pasting it, then we're just going to snip it. And that's going to ensure that we kind of have this thing pretty nicely aligned. So there it is. And if I have any glue, if I have any sticky, this is when it's time to use this to clean up any sticky. Now, I'm not worried about this because what I'm going to do is we're going to grab one of these. Remember, I cut 3 of these, and I'm going to cut the little fence off here. Okay, and this is going to go right there like that. Okay, and that's going to take care of that piece. Now I'm going to put glue on this, but I'm going to concentrate on putting it on the outside edge. So whatever little bit I have is going to go, and if it's too much, you know, I'm just going to kind of wipe it because I just want it on the outside edge. Nice little tiny bead, tiny bead, tiny bead. Okay. And what's nice about this is that, let me get this sticky mat out of the way, and let me clean my fingers so that I don't, is that just line this up in the center like that, okay? And once you line it in the center, you can kind of spread this open. Okay, just spread that open so that it goes around the edge of your card like that, okay? And again, then what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm going to go inside, so I'm basically snipping the seam. There, I snipped the seam there so as not to over snip, okay? So there is the front, and now, you know, clean it up with our little gummy thing here. Get off that extra glue if there's any glue. Okay, I'm overdoing it a little there, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too worried about that either. All right, because you know what I can do with that? See where I kind of so I guess don't really worry, you don't have to worry too much about that sticky, because what we're going to do is we're going to cover that arbor with roses. So I kind of let me just show you. I kind of overworked that area, but it's, you know, not to worry. We're going to fix that. All right. So here's our inside, and I am going to remove some of this that's in here. Okay. So there's our inside. Now, before we go any further, we're going to cut another piece. Okay, I'm taking another gate, and we're going to cut this again, because what I want to do is I want to clean up this inside edge right there. Okay, and I can just snip that right there and just make sure that this is trimmed. There we go. All right, so then again, grabbing my little silicone mat, I'm just going to go ahead and another very thin bead of glue, and it is very thin, very, very thin, and I'm going to place this right here along that edge. And the way you need to match it up is simply you just match up these two little notches right there, and it will match perfectly. So you have this nice and finished on both sides of your card. So then we're going to turn this around, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do this way. So flip this around. Let me clean off my silicone mat because I have glue on it, and flip it around. Let's put this back on there, and we just want a very thin bead. And I'm barely pressing it. I'm getting a very, very thin bead. And now we're going to put this one right here. And again, key is to line up this little notch there and at the bottom. And there you go. So now we have kind of finished the inside of our card. Now comes the fun part. And the fun part is that we are going to put on our arbor dressing right there. But before we decorate the arbor, what I want to do is I want to put this piece, our centerpiece, in, and I want to line up this piece to ensure that when we close this, that this is going to fall very nicely right there. Okay, you see how that's going to just fall in there? So when you open it, it's going to show like that. So I got a little piece I got to get out. So as you can see in this card, I didn't pump up the arbor and the gate because I did that on the flowers, and that's kind of the prettiness of it, is that you kind of open it up and you see the flowers. So we're going to go ahead and put this piece, our backing, the back of the card, we're going to apply this, and this is soft seafoam. I don't think my glue is going to, I think I'm done. I think this one is done. Finito. All right, let's see how much I got in this one. I got spits and sputters coming out. But it should be enough to get me. Okay, that should be enough. I got 2 down. I got to go get my new one. And that should be enough to just line this up nicely inside my card right there. Okay? So there we go. Let me go. Okay, I got a new one. Nice and clean, not sticky at all. Okay, so we've put this in here, and now we're going to take our new glue and we're going to put a very nice thin bead very nicely around here, and that just goes so pretty. And if I have any biggies, oops, if I have any biggies, I'm just going to kind of smear them a little. And I should be using my silicone mat, but I'm glad I have a glass top because you have to work pretty hard to ruin a glass top. Okay, so the key to this, and I'm going to use a pencil, is I'm just going to mark a little center and a little center, okay? So I have two, I have those marked very nice, lightly. And I'm just going to go ahead and place this right in that center, loosely. And then I'm going to open up, close my card, and then because I've got my tacky glue, as you can see, I can kind of move this around until I am perfectly happy, okay? And I may have some stuff that I have to wipe up, and I can certainly erase, and I don't have to worry because if I have to, I can always put a flower there, okay? There's always a way to mask, oops, the madness, all right? But there you go, okay? All right, so now I've got some pieces that are a little bit up here, so then I want to go ahead and finish this piece here. Very thin piece of glue. And then I want to finish this piece here. Very thin piece of glue. Okay. So that's glued. All right. This is kind of bugging me, so I want to cover that, but I need to relax for a minute and not get all distracted because there's other things we need to do. Putting my foam mat underneath, grabbing my memento I have on my, and I am going to put this right here. Let's just let it set. There we go. Nice crisp image. So let's build our trellis, and it's going to start here. And if you'll notice, I kind of want to show you this. If you'll notice, this comes around nicely here. This, if I put this here, it swings off. So what I did is I basically turned that upside down, so I kind of have them growing together like that. And then I'm going to snip pieces and kind of fill in the inside. So that's how you start with this. So we're going to take some very lightly, just grab just grab a little bit of glue, okay? And put your first piece right there, and I'm not really going too much to the inside of my arch. It's kind of along the outside. Now I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to put glue on this piece, and that's too much glue. I need to have a much lighter hand with my glue. And I'm just going to scrape it off with my bone folder and use a wet rag to clean off my bone folder. So I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to put this one right about like this. Okay? So now it looks, see how balanced it looks? It looks very balanced. It looks very harmonious. So now I'm going to take pieces and parts of this next piece, and we're going to kind of come up like this, which is easy to do. And I'm just kind of snipping it. There we go. Here's the piece, and I'm snipping it right. Where am I? I'm snipping it right below that little bud. So I'm snipping it right there, and then I'm going to come around, and I'm just going to kind of work my leaf so that it looks like, see that? So it looks like it's got a nice edge to it. And that's going to come around this side, and then this piece is going to come around this side. Okay, so once again, let's take a little bit of this glue, have a very light touch. And there we go, just a very, very light touch on the glue. And we're just going to put that right there like that. And it covers up that other, see, it covers up that rough piece right there. All right, now we're going to take this piece and we're going to do the same thing very lightly with the glue. Okay, and we're going to take this piece and we're going to put this, and I kind of don't like this. I'm cutting off this stem. The reason why I'm cutting off this stem is because I want it to kind of want it to come a little bit out. You know what? And I'm also going to cut off, look, I'm going to cut off the stem and this flowered piece right here. All right, because I want this to kind of come around like that. Okay, you see that? See how that worked? All right, now I have two little pieces up here that I want to get. So now I kind of go back, and I got this little piece of leaf. I could probably add it right there. And I have these pieces here. Let me go out a little bit. And I'm going to need half a piece in there. So I mostly need most of my pieces right right in here. So I can I can cut this one here. Well, so let's go ahead and cut this one right here. I'll just cut that around. And if anything, this feels more like flower arranging than anything else, which I think is just so fun. I mean, that's what I just love about this little dot. I'm just going to put that flower right there. And then we're going to grab another little flower. I think this is the one I'm kind of cutting up. So let me just trim another little flower off here. And we just kind of want to trim and just kind of get a nice and get rid of this. I'm kind of getting rid of this sharp piece right there. You can see that. So I'm just trimming that off. Just kind of finishing a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to put this piece with just a tiny tad of glue. I'm going to put this piece right here. So, so there you go. Now, if you want to get fancy, I don't know who wants to get fancy, but if you want to get fancy, this is what we could do. See this piece right here? Okay. I'm going to cut this so that this much of it is going to go here and it's going to fold over this piece. Watch. Okay, and see it's got kind of an awkward little area, so I'm just going to go ahead and you can kind of see why we went over when we were coloring it, how we, you know, we kind of went over on our green spot because it's, so now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue it, put a dab of glue right here, and this is going to fit right. It's going to fit right there. Okay. So I just want you to see. You see how I did that? How it's going to it kind of overlaps right here. I stuck it right there. Okay. So then when you fold it, it's going to go like that. You see how that flower kind of, isn't that pretty? And you kind of don't see this flower back here, right? I mean, look at that. That is just gorgeous, okay? So we're not done yet, because what we're going to add is we're going to add some of these pretty little yellow flowers here at the bottom to kind of we're going to add some of these yellow flowers right here. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go ahead and I'm going to put glue right along this bottom because this is what I really want to adhere. Because if I put it up to the top and it's going to come over and we don't want glue back here. See, we want the glue right there along the bottom. And I'm going to grab the another yellow piece, and we're going to put that one again. Just kind of, if you get too big of a bead, just use your little nozzle and spread it out so it doesn't get too unyieldy. Now, because I have, this is kind of sticky, I could, if I wanted to, I could add another piece here and we'll do the same thing. So what I'm going to do, this side is nice and dry. I don't have any glue, sticky part, but I do have some sticky here. So I'm going to add some glue on this one side, okay? I'm adding some glue on this side. And then I'm just going to add another flower, and I'm going to let that let that dry, but it's going to go over. And no glue is coming out over here. Okay, so that's good. Okay. And I could probably, I thought I had a little piece. There you go. That looks nice. Just kind of let those dry. So now we can open this up and we're going to do the inside. So the first thing we're going to do the inside, of course, is my favorite flower. And using dimensionals, we're just going to adhere our wonderful, and I believe this is a hollyhock. These grew in my grandmother's garden in New Mexico. Hollyhocks are all over, and if you know the artist Georgia O'Keeffe, she has several pictures, paintings that are of hollyhocks. So I'm just going to kind of put that right there. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. We're going to put this one over here on this side. And we're going to put this one right here. And now I can grab, and I think I've got a small piece right here that I can put there, and then I have a much taller piece I can kind of select and put right there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one there and that one kind of like that. Let me go ahead and very nicely get a little bit of glue. Okay, if I've got too much, just grab your bone folder, scrape it, spread it around. If your bone folder's got glue on it, put it on your thing. Now I should probably trim right here. I'm just going to trim those corners so it doesn't look like it's been cut. See how pretty that is? And I can just put that right there. And I can let that kind of peek right between our little hollyhock there. Okay, so there it is. I think it's just gorgeous. I just think it's just gorgeous. So of course, I really think we need the little cat. And the little cat I'm going to bump up on a dimensional right here. And he's perfect for it. Just make sure I trim him a little bit. And we're just going to put our little cat. And he's going to kind of hide behind these flowers. And I'm going to let his tail kind of swoosh off into the flowers there. And there you go. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now I have this little leaf that should be adhered, and it's really not. So I'm going to have to put just a tad of glue on this. And then I'm going to have to wipe it off because that looks like it's too much. Anyway, I'm going to put this leaf right there. And I want this leaf to kind of come out a little bit because that is where our little bird's going to go. And our little bird is going to be set up on a mini dimensional. Let me go ahead and cut a little sliver of mini dimensional here and put this on the back of my bird, and it fits perfectly. And then we're going to take this off, and I'm going to put my bird right there. But there you go. Isn't that just gorgeous? And I guess we could, but I didn't choose to do it. I guess we could put the green inside there. Or you could do something, which this would be nice, is you could basically kind of back this up like that. And we could put some little flowers there if you wanted to kind of finish that off a little bit. But that's kind of up to you. But I think that is just a gorgeous card. I kind of like the way it overlaps. All right, so there you go. Both cards I've made using the Grace's Garden. Two different styles, pretty much the same, but kind of different on the outside. I did not use these framelits, and I really think I used them on another card, and I really think that the cards stand up on their own without having to use them. I think they're actually prettier without them. So one thing, so I'm not going to go there, but you're welcome to try it if you want to. So there you go, Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, stampartconnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Please like and share and make a comment. I'd really like to hear what you say. And if you make a card, send me an email. It's kat@stampartconnection.com. I'd love to see what you come up with. Hope you all have a wonderful Friday and enjoy your weekend. And blessings to everyone. And stay healthy, stay safe, and happy stamping.